In this video, I just want to walk through both getting data from the internet, like real data, and also loading it into Excel and then filtering that data so that you get a slightly smaller data set. So I'm using data.gov here as an example. And if you go to data.gov, you're going to see this screen or something similar to it. And I'm going to, in the search bar here, I'm just going to type in COVID, just because, it's recent, it's relevant. And when I do that, it finds 264 data sets found for COVID. And if I scroll down, you can see some of these are federal level, some of these are city, county, and so on and so forth. So I'm actually going to just scroll down and look at, what kind of data we have here. And it looks like laboratory testing looks like a good one to take a look at. So, it has a little description here. So if you are interested in using data.gov, it's definitely a great resource for real data at multiple different levels. So I'm going to pick this one. This is the diagnostic, the PCR testing time series. And when you click on it, this is federal level data. So it's, across multiple states. And you'll see there's a little bit of information about it, when it was last updated, and a whole bunch of stuff. But the thing that you want to look for here is the download button. And you also want to make sure it's in a format that you can actually read. So CSV is comma separated values, which is Excel understands that. So that's a great format to download it. And obviously Excel is another good one. I like CSV. It's a little bit more secure. People can't sneak macros in there or whatnot, but data.gov is a pretty safe site regardless, so shouldn't have to worry. So I'm going to click the download button, and down in the bottom left corner here, you'll see that it downloaded this file. I have all my downloads. They all go to my downloads directory, my local downloads directory, which you can usually get when you open up the Explorer. You'll see downloads, and you should see the file pop up in that directory. So here it is right there. You can also just click on the file that gets displayed on the bottom left side of the browser. And because it's a CSV file, it automatically associates it with Excel. So if I just click on it, it'll open the file in Excel for us. So here it is in Excel, and you can see that when it defaults the load, there's some things here that are that have pound signs in them, the number sign. That just means that the field is not wide enough to display the entire contents of that field. So if you go, in this case, between the F and the G column, you'll see the cursor kind of changes to a cross. And if you double click, it'll actually resize that column so that those pound signs go away. Now, column E here, you can see there's a lot of data here. If I double click on that, I can also just see all the data for these columns as well. So sometimes what I like to do is select the top left square up here, and then double click in the columns, and then also double click in the rows. And it'll resize everything according to the largest piece of data in any given column or row. So to filter, so you can see here, there's a lot of data. I think there's, if I scroll all the way down, we're talking about well over 34,000 records here. So that's a lot of data. So we don't necessarily want to use all that data. I mean, we could. We could definitely use all that data, and we can certainly graph all that data. But if you're a little intimidated by that amount of data, what I like to do is in that top left-hand corner between the A and the 1 here, there's this little cell. If I click it, it selects everything. And then I can go up to this data tab, click on the data tab, and then there's a filter button. And if I click on the filter button, you'll see that all of these little carrots come up next to every column. Now, if I click on one of those carrots, you can see a list of all of the unique values that are in that particular column. And this is a state column, so all of the states get listed here, at least the ones that are being reported on. So let's say, since we're in New Hampshire, we just want to look at the records relating to New Hampshire. We can deselect the Select All button, and that deselects all of these choices, and I can just click on New Hampshire. And when I click OK, what happens is it filters everything down to just New Hampshire records. And if you look, you probably can't see it because I don't have the whole thing here showing, but if you look now down at the bottom, it says 657 of 34,091 records found. So what that means is there's 600, it's filtered down to 657 records out of that total 34,000 plus records. So now you're dealing with a much more reasonable number as opposed to, the 32,000, which, for some might be a little bit too much. And so now you can actually use this data to report on. You can filter twice, so I can actually filter on the state and then filter on a date, for example. So maybe I just want to see, and Excel is nice enough and intelligent enough to know that it takes the dates and actually breaks them down by month here for you. So they only started tracking in March for COVID-related testing, so that's why there's no January or February in here, and obviously we're in October right now, so the latest they'll go is October. If you expand these, you can actually get the days of the week, the specific dates, but let's just say I want to look at only a few months, so I'm going to unselect everything, and let's just say I want to look at the first 3 months that we started tracking testing, PCR testing with COVID. Then I just select those 3 months here, I click OK, and now I'm down to 261 records out of the 34,000. So you can really do a meaningful filter on the data based on what exactly you're looking for. If you make a mistake or decide that you don't want to filter the data, you can always come back up here in the ribbon here on the top and click Clear, and that will clear all the filters that you just applied, and you can start all over again. So that's just a quick and dirty intro to how to get the data off the internet and also how to filter that data down to something that's a more workable solution.